This is John Miller, inviting you to join Joe Morgan and me at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific for the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week. From the Kingdom, Dwight Gooden and the Yankees meet Ken Griffey and the Mariners right after Baseball Tonight next.
Up on Baseball Tonight. On this holiday weekend, we're keeping our eye on baseball's next generation. Javi Lopez and the Braves double their pleasure in Pittsburgh, as things are twice as nice for the O's. Albert Bell shows no signs of slowing up in Motown. Can the White Sox pound out a big hurt to the Brew Crew? Devo and the Marlins climb to new heights to beat the Cards, while Bobby Jones tries to stop the Red Hot Pies. We'll lay it all out for you. Don't jump to conclusions. Oh, baby, we have a show for you. Baseball Tonight is next. Hello once again, everybody, and a happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Chris Berman along with Peter Gammons, and 1,600 miles of racing today. But you know what? On this show, we dole out 3,000 miles of baseball. The White Sox have a chance to pick up some mileage, if you will, on the Cleveland Indians, because your favorite expression, they're playing, what, the soft underbelly of the American League?
Absolutely. 2 weeks ago, we talked about how they had played the toughest schedule in the American League by far. Now they've really started to roll, playing teams with sub-500 records, although the Brewers are pretty good. Two guys, Tony Phillips and Harold Baines, have been huge in this streak.
Well, the White Sox looking for their 8th straight win against their not-so-beloved neighbor just to the north, the Milwaukee Brewers. And here we go from Comiskey. Bottom of the 8th inning. It's already a 6-1 White Sox lead, but remember this, and Mike Potts, the lefty, will remember it. Frank Thomas, back, 2-run home run. He now has 50 RBIs of the year, by the way. Next batter, Harold Baines. Don't tell me. Does this get out of here, that low liner? Yes, 2 straight home runs. They both hit their 197th lifetime. Robin Ventura, the next batter, back-to-back home runs, 10-1. Lyle Mouton, back-to-back. Well, it was just a single. Phil Garner, though, says that's enough. Potts, you're out. Ramon Garcia, you're in. The next man, Jed Kruder. It's a home run. 4 White Sox batters. 4 home runs and 5 batters is what I'm trying to say. And I kind of felt like Phil Garner right there, because he said, what can I do? Yes, it was a sweep as the White Sox win at 12-1. They're the 16th American League team to hit 4 home runs in an inning. The Major League record is 5. Once in the AL, the 66 Twins, the 39 New York Giants, the 49 Philadelphia Phillies, and the 61 San Francisco Giants. They have the record with 5. It's the White Sox with 4 in one inning almost get into the record books. Tribe and the Tigers. And Brian Williams pitched pretty well against Albert Bell.
He always had a great curveball. That's what made him a #1 pick with the Astros. He's just been very inconsistent on the Tigers staff. They can wait to see if he can ever get it over.
Here, broken back double play, and Williams has Bell's number. The Indians lead at 1-0 in the 6th. A pitcher's duel at Tiger Stadium. Bell strikes out. So Williams has been pitching excellent ball against Bell and really against the Tribe, but you know, sooner or later, Albert's going to go pitch the opposite way.
Absolutely. Of course, this ballpark, the more home runs per game hit in Tiger Stadium this year over the last 2 years than even in Colorado.
You know, the Indians only got 4 hits. Brian Williams pitched well, but Dennis Martinez says, hey, I'm 7-2, and the Tigers have lost 11 in a row. They have lost 31 of their last 35, almost 40,000 at Tiger Stadium. 3/4 of them Indian fans making the trip because they can't get tickets there. As for Albert Bell, well, he now has 20 home runs. Now remember, the month does not end until Friday. Bell already tied with Mickey Mantle and Frank Thomas as second best total in the majors through May. Junior, 2 years ago, had 22 when he was on that record-setting pace during the strike year. Remember, so Bell has a handful of games left. He is unreal, and in his last 162 games, he has 65 home runs. Rangers at the Royals. This is a wild one, so pay attention. Looks like an easy ground ball. Keith Lockhart ground ball. McLemore to first. There's one out, but Tom Goodwin caught the pickle. Everyone gets involved, but alertly, Johnny Damon tries to score from second base. He does. The throw goes into right field. And by the time it's all over, Goodwin Goodwin will score. That's quite a pickle. It's a dill pickle. 2-1 Royals after 2. But the Rangers have rallied against the Royals bullpen, and Warren Newsom, not much of a neck, but a pretty good hitter. Will Clark scores, Mickey Tettleton scores. The Rangers lead at 6-3, going to win at 6-4 as Ken Hill wins for the 6th time this season. Henneman comes on to mow him down in the 9th for save number 14, and the Rangers beat the Royals by the count of 6-4 and rallying from behind. When the Atlanta Braves were on the road to being who they are, baseball's best team, the road to the World Series went through Pittsburgh. It's been 5 years since the Braves won those memorable games 6 and 7 in Pittsburgh, but many still remain who watched it from afar. One who watched it from afar, Greg Maddux, took to the hill today in Three Rivers. That's what I was trying to say. And here we go. As Greg Maddux, the Jeff King, curveball, and Javi Lopez digs in against Paul Wagner, goes down and gets it, sends it back. Gone, we're tied at 1. Top of the 6th, still tied at 1. Lopez, off Wagner. Another solo home run, 2-1 Braves. Bottom of the 9th, the Braves lead at 3-2. Dave Clark against Mark Bay City Wohlers. And he is glad all over. The fastball over the plate. Clark deposits it over the fence, and we're tied at 3. We stay that way to the 13th. When Marquise Grissom with 2 on. Off Maselli, sends it back on. So the Braves win 2 of 3 in Pittsburgh, winning this one by the count of 6-3. As there's some different names in there. Wade with the win, Bilecki with the save. Grissom went 3 for 5. Of course, hit number 3 was the big one as the 3-run shot brings down the Buccos. Padres and Mets, and a game that we haven't seen much of this year, a pitcher's duel. And Bobby Jones pitched and fielded well, Peter.
Absolutely. Here he makes one good play here. He has really turned out to be the bellwether of the staff as they try to get the young kids through it. Here, fielding his position, key part of any job for any pitcher.
Bottom of the 1st inning, Sean Bergman has had trouble in the first, hasn't he? Here he gives up the dinger to Gilford.
If he can get by the 1st inning, he's terrific. He didn't get by the 1st inning. 1 run, but...
1 run was all that Bobby Jones needed. He sits in the 9th. Bases loaded, 2 out. John Franco with the high hard one. K's Jody Reed. 9th save for Franco, 300 and counting, right? And the Mets beat the Padres by the count of 1-0. Bobby Jones, and you pegged it, Peter. Not like he's been around forever, but a 5-1 mark amidst all those youngsters, and he's had some big wins to avoid long Met losing streaks. Well, amidst all the merriment of the games, much of the news in baseball this season has been sobering, none more than this. Mike Sharperson at the San Diego Padres, who was playing for the AAA Farm Club in Las Vegas, was killed this morning in a 1-car accident while returning to his Las Vegas home. It happened just hours before he was to board a flight to Montreal to join the big club tomorrow to replace the injured Ken Caminiti on the roster. Sharperson was 34. He was married. The couple had no children. Sharperson apparently was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected through the sunroof of his car. He was alone in the car and was pronounced dead just after 5 a.m. this morning, Pacific time. Played briefly for Atlanta last season, but you best know him from the Dodgers, where he played from 87 to 93. From 90 to 92, he and Lenny Harris were a formidable platoon at third base, although he played all the infield positions. In 92, Sharpie hit 300, made the National League All-Star team. Today, Stars manager Jerry Royster remembers.
The one thing that I remembered was in the beginning when Mike Sharperson was hurt, and not too many people had anything good to say about Mike Sharperson. But the last thing that I remember is that they were cheering him to no end, and that's the way it should be. That's the way that Mike Sharperson should be remembered, with cheers.
And that's the way we will remember. In Las Vegas, the Stars canceled their game today. It will not be made up. Nobody thinking about baseball out there. We both knew Sharpie, as he was affectionately known. I never saw him upset. He was always smiling at the cage. He and Lenny Harris used to call themselves spaghetti and meatballs, and they were just so loose, unlike some others on the Dodgers at the time. It's a spirit that all of baseball will miss, Peter.
Well, particularly miss him with the Stars. I mean, he's a guy, listen, he's gone from AAA club to AAA club the last few years. In every place, whether it was Pawtucket or Richmond or Las Vegas, he was always referred to as the leader of the team. Teams wanted him to help their young players. The sad part here is At 11 o'clock this morning, he was supposed to board a flight to Montreal to join the team. They weren't sure whether Ken Kennedy is going to go on the disabled list in the next couple of days. He was supposed to be called up Tuesday. They told him he was all packed, ready to go. And then, of course, Kennedy talked him out of going on the DL. The guy went, instead of being upset about it, he ran down, got his uniform on, went out, got the game-winning pinch hit. He went out last night, his last game, doubled off the wall, single, 2 RBIs, 3 great plays in the field. But this is a big loss for a lot of people on that club, and I know some of the veterans. They've got great people there in Las Vegas with guys like Pete Smith and Rob Deere and Doug DeCenzo. It's really hit them very hard, as it's hit anybody who knew him.
Very eerie to look at that. The Padres equipment bag in the car. Mike Sharperson dead at the age of 34, and all of us feel has lost our best, our condolences to Mike's family. When we return, we ironically will check with Sharpie's old team, the Dodgers, who ironically were in the city where he was to fly, Montreal. And the Cubs and the Stros. Shane Reynolds looks for win number 7. Stay with us, please. Our Sunday night game of the week, Junior Griffey tries to take aim at Doc Gooden. Didn't work the last time. Yanks Mariners, our Sunday night game of the week, coming up at the top of the hour.
Special financing now available on any Rheem air conditioning system purchased.
Beck's, the original import. Taste German beer at its finest. Beck's, America's favorite German beer.
Introducing the Michelin X1 with a 6-year unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It gives you better wet traction than any rain tire, plus control in any driving condition. After all, it hasn't rained that much in years.
Aquí estamos vivos en la 18 Broadway. He's jumping! Get him down! Get over here!
What's going through his head?
The street if he jumps.
Maybe I should move my car.
Nice pants.
Dockers, flat front khakis.
I should have gotten a dog.
So what about abstinence during the playoffs? Is this true?
I've heard that.
Are they afraid that it'll sap his virility and...
I see where you're going with this one.
I think it works the other way around, to tell you the truth.
You have secret dates sometimes?
Yes, we have secret dates.
During the playoffs?
Very clandestine, yes.
So how is that for you when he's off, away from you all during the playoffs?
Sometimes people think that would be kind of difficult to be away from the guys, but quite frankly, during the playoffs, I would just assume he was somewhere else.
Baseball Tonight is being brought to you by Dockers Khakis, proud makers of pants. Nice pants.
There goes Joey, the bat. That's open. Deep to right field. The Mariners have done it. Fly away. One pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on the line down the left field line. Oh, base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior at third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. Put in for himself. The 2-1. A high papa. He's going to do it. At shortstop, Jeter. Jeter on the outfield drive. Makes the catch. The Yankees win. The Yankees win. And Doc Gooden pitches a no-hitter.
Sunday night game of the week. Doc Gooden allowed the Mariners no hits the last time he faced them. Now Griffey and the boys want to dig in. Edgar Martinez says, give me another shot. Sunday night game of the week is Doc Gooden and the Yankees against the Mariners in the Kingdome against Paul Menhart. St. Louis Cardinals put Dennis Eckersley on the 15-day DL with a sore elbow. I mean, Eck's been around forever, over 20 years in the majors, although he doesn't look it. It's only the 3rd time he's been on the DL, Peter. How serious is the injury this time?
Well, nobody seems to know. He's flying home to Boston to be seen by Dr. Arthur Pappas, but there is concern. Yeah, say, he's 41 years old, even though he's in great shape. It's a concern, and Tom Henke keeps telling him he doesn't want to unretire, so this could be a little bit of a problem for the Cards.
Well, the Cards, all of a sudden, who've had a tough season, have won 5 in a row. They tried to keep it rolling in Florida, and here we go to Joe Robbie Stadium. Watch the play in center field by Devon White on a ball hit by Royce Clayton. Devo has done it so many times. This is just a reminder.
I think he's getting sick of seeing Chucky Carr on plays of the week.
Yeah, I would say so. Meanwhile, Royce Clayton, usually a pretty good fielder. I don't know whether he was shaken up by Devo's catch or what. That didn't work. And then he and Mark Sweeney collide. And meanwhile, off the hurdy-gurdy man, Donovan Osborne, it's Gary Sheffield of Dreams with a 2-run shot at 7-0 Marlins. Next man up, Jeff Conine the Barbarian. His second home run of the game, 8-0 Marlins. And the downpours came in the 8th, and fittingly, who would get the win? David Weathers. He weathered the storm. Duffus marked at 2-0. The Marlins win at 8-2. Conine, who had been in a slump, with 3 for 3. Sheffield went 3 for 4. Good game between the Dodgers and the Expos. Tom Cotton Candiotti had the no-hitter working for a while. Gets Sherman Obando, and then against Henry Rodriguez.
He's a very tough guy for what is normally a very aggressive fastball-hitting team like the Expos.
No-hitter through 5 2/3, but then against Obando on my knee. Gone after Krzelanic broke up the no-hitter with a single. Then later it was the home run made it 1-0. In the 9th with a 1-0 lead, off the fleur-de-lis with the bases loaded. Mike Flowers. 3 Dodgers score. All told they get 4. It's a 4-1 lead. But in the bottom of the 9th, against Todd, we are the Worrell. None out. A base hit to left by Moise Alou. It's a 4-3 game. F.P. Santangelo in foul ground. Eric Carros makes the grab. And the Dodgers get the 4 runs. They lead it 4-1. The Expos get the 2. Not enough. The Dodgers went up with a count of 4-3. The Dodgers have won 9 of 12. Candiotti gave up 2 hits through 8 innings of work. Cubs and the Stros. It's a 2-1 Cubs lead, and Craig Biggio's been plunked 10 times this year, and against Frank Castillo, number 11.
Well, there's a curveball. It's almost in the strike zone. Notice all the Astros and Red Sox guys are wearing elbow pads because half of them are in the strike zone.
That's from the Ron Hunt, Don Baylor, take the pitch to get on. Well, he knew that Bagwell was on deck at Biggio, and Bagwell is shot to left. Shane Reynolds, the pitcher, scores. Biggio scores. Bagwell ends up with 3rd, even though the interesting throw by McCray came in. It's 3-2 Stros. Still in the 6th. See now, Castillo working on the outside, and Orlando Miller makes him pay. It's a gapper. Derek Bell motors around. He will score. 6 runs in the 6th for Houston. Shane Reynolds in command. He's a good pitcher, Peter, and here he freezes Pedro Valdez.
Oh, he's got great control. He's very aggressive in the strike zone, one of the lowest walk-strikeout ratios in the game. He has been their #1 starter.
Retiring the last 15 batters, he had 10 strikeouts, and the Astros sweep the Cubs, winning today by the count of 7-2. Reds and the Rockies, where it was raining. They had the rain problems last night. They rained this one out between Cincinnati and Colorado. Will be rescheduled on August the 29th. When we return, Osvaldo Fernandez hurling for the Giants today. One of the Cuban pitchers with success. We'll examine. Stay with us. Young Alex Rodriguez and a bevy of young shortstops who could be stars for a decade. Peter will have a closer look when we return on Baseball Tonight.
Limited number of VIP clubhouse badges available. Call now.
Whatever game you're into, one piece of equipment covers it all. The Plain Dealer Sports Section. Call 1-800-231-8200 to start home delivery.
The X Games, coming soon.
A Rude central air conditioner is built so well, it might just last you till the next ice age. Heck, a Rude air conditioner cools so well, it might even cause the next ice age. You can rely on Rude.
Special financing now available.
Who's hot and who's not? We do it on Sunday nights. Here's the good list. Junior warming up. Can you get any hotter than Roberto? Remember the Alomar in the field and at the plate? Flirting with 400. Larry Walker, all those extra base hits in the record books for the Rockies. As for the bad list, Ruben High Sierra has been low. Phil, the final plantier, has been final. Current Mets and past Mets, Paul Wilson and Pete Shorrock struggling on the mound. Barry Bonds had an RBI today, but he has been scuffling for the Giants. You couldn't get a more diverse matchup in the majors to suddenly become a big-time rivalry now, could you? Let's face it, when it comes to cities, New York and Seattle, they're about 3,000 miles apart, or almost. They're more so if you think about it. And so are the histories of their ball clubs. The Yankees with the Babe and the Monuments and all those World Series. The Mariners with 3 winning seasons in their lifetime. In fact, the Yankees went 39 years without a losing season once upon a time. But they were forever linked, these two teams, last October in a series nobody will soon forget. And now the Doc faces the team he just no-hit. Welcome, baseball's newest rivalry. Welcome our Sunday night team, John Miller and Joe Morgan. Guys?
Thanks, Chris. And there is a lot of excitement here in Seattle this weekend. More than 100,000 people seeing the first 2 games of this series. And we may have around 40,000 here tonight. So we're really looking forward to it. And, of course, Dwight Gooden, one of the great stories in the game right now, going for the Yankees in the rubber match. He's become the ace of the Yankees. He had that no-hitter against the Mariners the last time he faced them. And, Joe, you had a chance to talk to him yesterday.
Yeah, John, and the thing that impresses me the most is that the Dwight Gooden that I talked to yesterday is the same guy that I talked to in 1984 and 85 when he was on top of the world. He doesn't blame anyone for his problems other than himself. He says he has to take responsibility, and he's done that. And I think that's what is great. And he was kind of emotional yesterday, like he was the day he pitched a no-hitter. I'd never seen him like that, so I asked him about it.
Everything just went through me at one time. You know, when Derek Jeter caught the ball, it was like, I don't know, it was like a lift. It was like thinking back to where I was a year and a half ago, not knowing if I even get the opportunity to put on a uniform, thinking about like the next morning when my father was getting ready to go through with the surgery, and just everything was right there. You know, doing it in New York, coming back to New York to do it right there in front of the fans who supported me. It was just like everything just hit me all at one time and just went through. And tell you how emotional I was, I didn't even realize that the guys was carrying me off the field until, you know, I seen the tape over and over and seen it in the papers.
I guess you took the ball, I'm sure, to your father, right?
Right. Took the ball to him. It's funny because the first win I got, I mean, I felt good with it, but I said, I dedicate that win to David Cohn, who had, was going through the surgery at that time. And then my second win just happened to be, the no-hitter, so I definitely had to get that ball to my father, because of his situation, taking it down to him. But my last win, that was for me. But it was good, to give my father the ball, because like right now he can't talk because of the, all the hookups he's got and the complications. But I gave him the ball, but definitely be complete when I can take the tape and we both can sit down and watch the game over.
Well, it's been a great story, that's for sure. But Dwight Gooden won't find too many fans in the stands here tonight. 40,000 people will be rooting against him because he had that no-hitter against the Mariners the last time.
Well, I think a lot of pressure falls on Dwight tonight because the Mariners had never seen him before when they faced him in New York. Now they know a little bit more about what to expect.
All right. Gooden in the rubber match of the series tonight. Jay Buhner will not be in the lineup for Seattle with a knee problem. And we'll see you a bit later here from the Kingdom. Chris?
All right, John, thank you very much. We look forward to the game. Certainly a marquee matchup, and we look forward to more of Joe's conversation with Doc Gooden. That's a Sunday night conversation on SportsCenter following the game. Now, Peter, the young shortstops, we'll get into all of them in a minute, but on center stage tonight, young Alex Rodriguez, Mariners tab #1 with the #1 pick overall in '93. And he's only the third shortstop to start at that position in his teens. Robin Yount, we know where he's going. Tony La Russa, great manager, and now Alex Rodriguez. So he's either going to be a Hall of Famer or a great manager. I'll take the first.
Yeah, I think I might take the first. I think if you asked all the general managers in baseball this question, if you're going to start a team right now, which player would you take? I'll bet that the majority would say Alex Rodriguez.
So why'd you come here? You have so many shortstops. Why'd you come?
We came to see you.
Came to see you.
Sometimes it's hard to fathom just how young he really is. Alex Rodriguez is 20, young to drink, but old enough to rank right at the top of all Major League shortstops in batting and homers. 3 years ago, he was still at Miami's Westminster High School, preparing to be the first pick in the free agent draft. 2 years ago, he was introduced to the major leagues on a Mariner road trip to Boston.
When I was 18 and I got called up, it was quite overwhelming, and I really wasn't ready for it.
Now, Rodriguez is ready.
What's up, man?
It has helped Alex that a famous teammate went through all this.
When I first came up, he and I had a lot of conversations about being a teenager and being in the big leagues. And to sum it all up, basically what he said was come out and play like you're in high school and have a lot of fun and don't worry about anything.
This is a remarkable time for young first and second year shortstops. There's the defensive brilliance of Ray Ordonez, the extraordinary all-around ability of Mark Grudzielanek, Derek Jeter, and Alex Gonzalez. But Alex Rodriguez is the youngest, he's the biggest, and he's the only shortstop that can be compared to Junior Griffey.
Junior's fluid. Alex had to work a little more at it. But I'll tell you what, the size, the strength, the way the ball jumps off their respective bats, it's very comparable.
And you see a lot of Junior and Alex at the age, so well, it could be scary.
Well, it's not a comparison. I don't compare myself to Alex. I just want Alex to be Alex Rodriguez.
Piniella eased Rodriguez into the season in the 9th spot in the order. On May 8th, he put the kid in the 2-hole in front of Griffey, Edgar Martinez, and Buhner. He's batted over 400 since, and in one stretch, bombed 5 home runs in 7 games.
For a young kid, you can use a whole field to hit with. Sometimes you're going to have to shoot the ball in that first base hole and try to get first and third. Other times you're going to have to hit behind the runner. You're going to have to bunt once in a while. It's a great education.
Rodriguez's 6'3", 200-pound frame and power set him apart from other young shortstops. Check this 440-foot shot.
And a fly ball in the center. This ball is hit long ways. Long ways.
Rodriguez has been accepted by veterans because he's respectful, and his modesty causes him to sidestep conversations about his power. However, he does enjoy talking about his defense and how hard he works at it.
I worked actually pretty hard with Ray Ordonez this year and back in Miami. And, you know, I worked really hard on coming through the ball and really concentration. And that's been the bottom line for me, just concentrating on every play, and that's what I take most pride in.
Being in the majors allows him to study the shortstops he admires, like Omar Vizquel and Cal Ripken.
Not so much, you know, that he comes out and bare hands balls. He does that, but he also does all the fundamental things. And Cal, who I've looked up for all my life, and the way he positions himself. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you look at and you say, wow, I want to be somewhere like that and be respected that much.
Respected. Look at the respect he gets batting second in the order, Peter.
Well, this is exactly how Junior Griffey broke in front of Alvin Davis. Griffey told him that this is the perfect place to hit, and it has been terrific. Gets a lot of fastballs. He uses the field. And I'll tell you, mentioned in the piece, this is a tremendous young man.
You know what? If you're a baseball fan, which we are, and everybody watching this show is, I am so excited to watch the progression of Rodriguez and all of these other shortstops who are under 25 years of age. I mean, the other guy you see tonight, Derek Jeter, he too has a big understanding of the game, and he too is a big guy.
Absolutely. And Alex Gonzalez, there are some inconsistencies in his game, but he's a marvelously talented guy. Another Miami guy, just like Mr. Rodriguez, of course. Ray Ordonez is, you know, he is as dazzling as anyone possibly other than Ozzie Smith, but very much like him. And of course, he's hitting 340. He's almost a certain rookie of the year. But this guy, Edgar Renteria, the Marlins like to say this guy's going to be even better. He's actually 19 years old. They signed him when he was 15, but don't tell anybody. Remarkably talented. And Mark Grudzielanek, who, if he had gone and played college basketball, was a highly recruited point guard out of El Paso. a marvelous athletic specimen as well. There are a lot of young shortstops that just are very, very exciting.
Well, here are some of the numbers, and you know, you just hope they field the position and don't get awed when they're 19 or 20 or 22 years of age. And maybe if they swing the bat a little bit. Look at the way this group swings the bat, and you've just seen the way they can field. These guys we'll be talking about into the next millennium. Bank on it. They have had spirited games, the Phillies and the Giants, probably because of their managers, Jim Fregosi and Dusty Baker, two men who don't back down very often. Onto the stick for the rubber game, but 3-game set between San Francisco and Philadelphia. And Osvaldo Fernandez gives up the RBI single to Terry Mulholland. Dunstan's throw late. Mulholland used to pitch for the Giants, kind of came around late last year. 2-0 Phils. Scary moment. Don't watch this. Don't. Oh. Glenn Allen Hill in right field. Fractured his left wrist, out a minimum of 10 to 12 weeks. Surgery tonight. Todd Zeile makes a good play on a Stan Javier foul point attempt. And then in the top of the ninth with a 4-1 game, Zeile does more than make a nice play. Wow. Jose Bautista, light him up, right, Peter?
Absolutely. Well, Zeile's starting to come around. Jeffries is going to be back in a little while. Phillies may hang around on the By the way, Terry Mulholland's hit, 0.83 lifetime average going into the game, third worst in baseball history.
Well, he likes to hit against his old mates, right? He's no hit his ex-mates. The Phillies win at 10-1. The Phillies have taken 4 of 6 from the Giants. Still to come. A's and O's was Merker magic. The Orioles hit him deep. And the Red Sox on the coast against the Angels. The Angels doing the hitting.
They lead. They encourage. They inspire. And finally, they watch. As America's home improvement coaches, the people of the Home Depot believe in building dreams, just like the coaches of the athletes of the 1996 Olympic Games. We're also proud to include Jeannie in our Home Depot Olympic family. They have always given you their best, just like we do every day at the Home Depot.
Ken Griffey Jr., athlete.
Hey, Nick, finish. This is a Griffey for President commercial. You know he's running for president, right? You know there's more to life than sports, man. There's politics.
He is a fabulous American hero. There has been anybody.
He got some interesting ideas about that flat tax. Check him out.
He picked the Mariner Moose as a running mate. It shows his consideration for animals.
Now, that moose could be a liability. Hey, let me tell you what. I should be his running mate. I mean, that's a good job, because you don't gotta do squat. Come on, Nick. Power to the people. Stick it to the man. No nukes. Save the whale.
Good as they are, if you think added engine protection only comes in a bottle, this will rock your lifters. The new Fram Double Guard oil filter with DuPont Teflon additive already in it. The same amount of Teflon protection as a quart of the leading engine treatment. Now one filter does 2 jobs to fight dirt, driving extremes, and startup wear for a lot less than using almost any of the leading bottles. The new Fram Double Guard oil filter with DuPont Teflon already in it.
You know, we've drafted kids right out of high school. We had this one kid. You would not believe the scouting reports. Raves up and down, can't miss.
Once again, the Indians appear to be the team to beat.
Emotionally, though, he just wasn't prepared.
Jimmy Key is attempting to come back.
Jimmy Key, what's he like, 45? I could hit him.
I mean, it's a different game in here.
Jack, you watch the game? I mean, didn't it suck? It sucked.
It is with much regret that I announced that I am leaving SportsCenter.
Bottom line, he just came out too soon.
Baseball Tonight rolls on from the Big A. Red Sox and the Angels. 2-1 Angels in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Charles Theodore Davis with Salmon at first. Vaughn Eshelman curls it into the right field seats. It's gone. 4-1 Angels. Chili's 9th. Red Sox in the field. Well, you've seen this before. Don Onslaught with the roller. John Valentin whacked. That opens the floodgates. Next man up, Tim Sockeye Salmon. Socks a double to the left field corner. 2-run score. 5-run 6 for the Angels. And what about reckless Rex Hudler, the wonder dog? He's 5 for 5. His 5th home run in his last 7 games. He hustles. When he gets out of bed, he hustles into the shower. He hustles into bed at the end of the night. The Angels win it 12-2. And Hudler had 39 home runs lifetime going into the last 7 games. Now he has 5 in the last 7 games. We love Rex Hudler. Meanwhile, Twins Jays, bottom of the 4th. Carlos Delgado de Vida. A little bloop shot of what's Roberto Kelly's arm here. This is what you call a double dribble. You got to be kidding me.
You want to keep it down on the turf.
You have to be kidding me. Well, he was laughing, but Ron Coomer. This is why he was laughing. His teammates bailed him out with a 6-run night. A pinch hit 2-run homer from Ron Coomer off Brian Bohannon. The Twins lose the first game in a 4-game set to the Jays, win the last 3, winning it 9-3. Nick Nolte ups his mark to 3-0. Big movie star now pitching. A's and the Orioles after a rain delay. Pedro Munoz. Look at Roberto Alomar.
In your game the other night, he didn't flip it to Cal. After the play, said to him, next time, let's do it that way.
He did it that way. Bobby Schwinyard. Remember him? He used to play in the Atlanta Flames with Eric Vale and Kurt Bennett and Tom Lysiak. At any rate, Greg's on. It's a shot down the right field line at 2-0 Orioles. Alomar, pool cue shot, left field line. Wrath of Zahn comes around to score. Robbie Alomar continues to swing the hot stick, but 1 for 3. What's the matter? His average is down to 401. The Orioles behind Kent Magic Merker. Good job. They win at 6-1.
He's been trying to build back his arm strength, get his velocity. A good indication today. He only threw 39 strikes, 83 pitches, and didn't allow a run.
Well, Schwinyard did a good job. Did okay, but sometimes it's tough for some of the youngsters expected to be big-time pitchers.
Well, I think Joe McElvain said this week, the biggest jump right now, the difference between AAA and Major Leagues is the biggest that he can remember in 25 years. You look, I mean, who are the 3 guys this spring? Jason Schmidt and Alan Bennis and Paul Wilson were all supposed to be instant 15-game winners. They've won 3 games between them, and it's not an indicator. They're all going to be good pitchers, but it just takes a long time. It took Alex Fernandez 3 years to get over 500.
Yeah, he's there now, but
absolutely.
But it's tough when they're rushed with so much pressure. Still to come on Baseball Tonight. Here's why there's so much pressure. We need pitching to keep the balls in the yard. It's our nightly Dinger Honor Roll. Stay with us. The doctor is in the Kingdom. Doc Gooden and the Yanks against the Seattle Mariners. Can he no-hit him again? Perish the thought. Top of the hour.
Rebel, take your creativity to a whole new level.
Express yourself with EOS lenses and the Rebel X from Canon.
Now at Pep Boys, get a $5 rebate on all Raybestos Pro Stop lifetime brakes. Car, truck, import, or domestic. That's $5 back on Raybestos lifetime brakes. You'll never have to buy brakes again. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair and for some people gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess, except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
And it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
It's Memorial Day, but after last weekend's sweep, Gary Geide and the Cards won't be holding a backyard barbecue at Busch for the Rockies. Later, MVP Mo and the Sox have begun to pick it up, but they'll need to improve their record away from friendly Fenway if they want to keep the AL East crown. The Rockies Cardinals at 1:15, the Red Sox A's at 4. The Memorial Day doubleheader tomorrow on ESPN.
Baseball Tonight is being brought to you by Rude Air Conditioners. You can rely on Rude.
The Tiger Stadium, every other batter, it seems. Well, here's the long balls. Javi Lopez, a pair for the Braves and their extra inning win. Gilkey had a solo home run, but that was enough to give the Mets their win over the Padres. Albert Bell with home run number 20. And then the White Sox back to back, a single, and then a back home run. So they had 4 in 1 inning. So, but as we get set for the best college players in the College World Series and the regionals right now, obviously pitching help is on the way, isn't it, Peter?
Oh, yeah. Just look at the South Regional today. Georgia Tech lost to LSU 29-13 in an 18-run 7th inning. LSU had 17 consecutive batters reach base.
Oh.
Welcome to the Tigers.
Those metal bats are like using Prince tennis rackets in the sweet spot. For Peter Gammons, I'm Chris Berman. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. And enjoy our Sunday night game of the week because it's the hottest rivalry in baseball. Mariners, Yanks, with Doc Gooden thrown in. John and Joe at the Kingdome. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Now, in its 7th season, it's the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week. Tonight, from the Kingdome, it's the Yankees with Dwight Gooden going up against the Seattle Mariners and Ken Griffey Jr. It's the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week. In 1984, at age 19, Dwight Gooden burst upon the New York scene with a promise of greatness.
Dwight Gooden has set a new Major League record for strikeouts by a rookie pitcher.
A year later, at 20, he was already baseball's most dominant pitcher, winning 24 games and the Cy Young Award. At age 21, he was the ace of the staff on the best team in baseball. Throughout his 20s, he was one of baseball's premier pitchers. But before his 30th birthday, a substance abuse problem caused him to be banned from the game for nearly 2 seasons. Now, at the age of 31, with everything to prove all over, Gooden has once again burst upon the New York scene. Tonight, it's Gooden against the Mariners on the Sunday night game.